Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. It doesn't look like we have anybody. Well, of course, the minute I say that, someone is now waiting to join us. We're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I am Shadley Gray with Agency Management Institute. For those of you who don't know, AMI is an organization dedicated to helping small to mid-sized marketing companies level up and make the most of their business in the weird environment and world we're currently living in. Part of that is through this monthly webinar series that I'm hosting, where we have a different guest each month talk on something that is important to the agency space. Today, I am thrilled to have Chris Gray join us. I will let Chris introduce himself as we dive into today's conversation. I will be monitoring the chat room, so if you have any questions as we go, feel free to drop them there. And with that, let's say hello to Chris.
Thank you, Shadley. Happy to be here, and I don't want to waste y'all's time. We will get going. Let me share my screen here. Oh, right. Let's get going. Shadley said something super interesting about this weird world we're in, especially in our space with the marketing space. And before I get into it, one of the things that we're learning is that I don't think that you can just be a marketing agency anymore. I think it's like marketing agency plus, marketing agency and not even marketing agency, like maybe something completely different. But what we're trying to do right now, we've been around for 18 years or so. What we're trying to do right now is integrate ourselves in the business so much, like our clients' business, like be so integrated that it's an absolute pain in the ass to get rid of us. Similar to the whole Salesforce model, except we want to do something that or deliver something that's actually super helpful. I'm not saying Salesforce is not, I'm just saying, but you get the idea here. That's the route we're going. But I digress. We're going to talk about the Google shifts nobody's talking about, but should. I did this presentation in 2026 or early 2026, and I've updated it since. There's some changes happening this year, and again, going back to Shadley's point, this world is getting weird. I just think that marketing agencies, it's gonna look different, and we'll talk a little bit about how. Before I get into it, my name is Chris Gray. I'm a husband and father, and like truly am. I like my wife and daughter, not just love them, but I actually like them. So I spend a lot of time with them. It's what I do. I'm also into marketing. Like I nerd out on marketing. I enjoy it, and so I don't really. I read books or listen to books, but I don't really watch TV or anything. I like marketing stuff, and I like jujitsu. I do that as well. I have a few businesses. One of them is Red Palm Studios. We've been over. We're known as one of the best local marketing agencies in the country. We've been around for 17 years. We've helped over 70 local businesses break the $1 million mark. So I'm going to be talking mainly about local business marketing, but it here's something that I don't think a lot of people understand. The local business marketing thing with Google is like a microcosm of what Google's going to do at a macro level. It's been that way ever since I've been in the game. They start making these little changes locally, then all of a sudden you see it happening at a national level with Google, but it seems like they test these things local. So I'm going to be talking about some things that are purely local and also some things that are a microcosm of what's going to happen at a macro scale. All right. Let me get back to my screen here. All right. So January. It was early January. I was in my office. It was a Monday morning. I was in my office. I got a text from a client saying, "Hey, things are slow." And then I got an email from another client saying things were slow. Then I got a call from my business partner who has a tree company, and he was talking about things were slow. So at that point, I'm like, okay, let me take a look at it because to get a text or a call from a client every now and then about things being slow, or sometimes more than now and then because just clients, but to get those texts or those calls, it's normal. But to get so many, like it was like back to back to back, I was like, okay, what's going on? The sky was falling for everybody. So I went down a rabbit hole. And as I went down the rabbit hole, I felt much like this guy. I don't really watch the show, but I'm familiar with this meme. And that's kind of how I felt as I was going down the rabbit hole. So this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to take the things I discovered and try to pack them up nice and neat. There's a lot to it, but we don't have a whole day. So I'm going to try to get to it. So here are the three things that I discovered. One, is we're going to talk about the shift in Google search. That thing is changing, and I'm sure you all are agency owners or work for agencies. You know that Google has changed. We're going to talk about the shift in Google search. We're going to talk about the shift in Google Ads, and we're going to talk about the shift in the Google Business Profile. And like I said at the beginning, this is local, but it is a micro of what's going to happen at a macro level. Some of these things, and also some of these things I'm going to talk about is fact. Like this is what Google said straight from the horse's mouth. Some of this other stuff is like my tinfoil hat, me trying to skate to where the puck is going. But we've done that well historically, and I'll try to do my best to distinguish what is my theory versus what is fact. All right, so let's talk about Google search. All right, here is the big idea with the Google search. If you walk away with one thing from this part of the presentation, this is what it is. Google is shifting from a search engine to a decision engine. Shifting from search to decision. So here's what I mean. If you go to Cheesecake Factory, I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area here in Texas, and if you go to Cheesecake Factory, this is the menu, right? And this is just the cheesecake and the desserts. This menu is a big library of food and stuff for you to eat, from appetizers to main courses. It is so much on this menu. That is the old Google. If you search something like plumber near me or whatever it is, whatever you want, it used to be just a bunch of stuff for you to pick from, right? It was a search and you had to search yourself. There's a restaurant here in the Dallas Fort Worth area called Babe's Chicken, one of the best places you can get chicken. I don't even eat it, but it's delicious. Everybody comes here and they go here, right? And when you go to Babe's Chicken in the Dallas Fort Worth area, guess what you're getting? Chicken. Like, and it's just like, how do you want it? Do you want tenders? Do you want it on the bone? You might get some chicken fried steak, but you're getting chicken, some variation of chicken. And guess what? Not only are you getting chicken, all you can get is a house salad, corn, mashed potatoes, biscuits. This is very Southern, and gravy. Like, this is what you're getting. The decision has been made. It's just kind of, how do you want it? This is where Google is going. They're taking all the friction out of search and they're deciding for you. We saw it last year with the AI overviews. You search something, Zero Search comes up, it answers it. Pretty soon, it's going to start telling you what to do, what to buy, who to choose. And in some cases, it's already doing that, but they're making the decision for people. That is the biggest thing I could kind of tell you from a big ideal perspective here. All right. And so, anyways, the search model, it showed a lot of options. The decision model, it helps people choose options faster. And so, why are they doing this? There's three things, and some of this is my tinfoil hat. Some of this is what's happening. So it's decision fatigue, the casino effect, and why or how money loves speed. So decision fatigue. Google said this themselves. They want to take the legwork out of search. This was back in 2024. They want to take the legwork out of search. And so what Google saw, this part is fact. What Google saw was there was an increase in mobile usage, obviously. They saw that voice search was growing and there were shorter attention spans. Think about, like, Facebook got in trouble years back for all their data. If Facebook has data, what do you think Google has? Google just didn't make it as accessible as Facebook did. Back in the day with the Facebook targeting, you could target all types of crazy stuff. Like, you can get super deep, and it was scary how much information they had, and they made it available to us marketers, which is a terrible idea. Google, they don't have just an app. They have everything. They got Chrome, they've got Gmail, they've got Drive. They, years ago, they knew a woman was pregnant before she did. They have so much information, but they don't just give it all to us the way Facebook did. They give us a good amount, especially with YouTube and stuff, YouTube ads. But anyways, point being is they have so much information. They saw that, hey man, their voice search is growing. They're having shorter attention spans. And so what Google says, well, you know what? People want, from what we see, they want the decision made for them. So they deploy zero click, and as soon as they deploy it, 60% of the search, 60% of queries didn't get any kind of click. Now it's 80% of queries are not getting a click. Google knows that, hey man, people don't want to think, so let's do the thinking for them. Let me go back in here. All right, the casino effect. Now this is me tinfoil hat stuff. I call the casino effect to me, it's something that cruises do, apartment complexes do this, social media platforms, they all do this one thing. It's how do we keep you in this one spot and maximize as much money as possible? Like, how do we keep you here and get as much money out of you as we possibly can? I went to a cruise. A cruise was a nice cruise, my very first one. It was good pricing wise, but when I got there, it was like buy this, buy that, this excursion, boom, boom, boom. Casinos do it, apartment complexes do it, keep you in one spot, monetize you as much as possible. So why do I say that with Google? Um, this is the strategy is working. This is something you can see the site that we got it from, but this was back in 2025. The revenue was up 14% year over year. Right, that's substantial for a company like Google. How are they doing that? They're doing that through ads, and they're not stopping. If we can keep you here, not having you click these different sites, keep you on this page, looking at ads, going with who we recommend for this search, we will make more money out of you. They did this last year. They're going to continue to do it. And then again, the money, love, speed thing is in my tinfoil hat. When, if I have a decision to make and Google makes the decision for me and it does it fast and it was a good decision, am I going to stop letting Google make the decisions? It's going to get to a point where it's going to be like, hey, like Shadley has glasses. He's going to want a certain pair of glasses. He's going to tell Google or some search engine, this is the glasses I want. This is my budget. Go do it. It's going to do it. Come back with the options. Buy it for him. He'll have glasses. It's already kind of doing these things, especially at the local level. These decisions are being made. But this is where Google's going. And so if Google can do that and keep doing it and do it at a high level, money, love, speed, they're going to keep getting money. Um, this right here, this was from McKinsey, and it shows that AI search will impact $750 billion in revenue. The AI search will impact $750 billion in search revenue. And so you don't think Google knows this? Um, as the AI summaries reduce the click by comparison behavior and positions Google as an authority, Google's going to get a nice big piece of this AI search pie. Let's move to the second thing. Google Ads. If your business generates leads from Google, um, especially at the local level, running ads is no longer an option. Like, you have to run them now. And so this is why. Well, let me give you the big idea here, right? The At the end of the day, it's back what is going. This is my tinfoil hat thing. It's just Google wants to make more money, and I'll tell you why here in a second. They made big changes. All right, so ads versus organic. If you're at the local level, meaning plumber near me, HVAC near me, lawyer near me, things of those service type stuff that's near me, they saw ads. The ads for these services increased by 733%. There was a surge from November 25 to the beginning of January 26. This is fact. The ads that they started showing increased 733%. Massive surge. Again, they're going to get this money. Um, Something else that changed in Google Ads is the keywords versus intent, and then keywords versus signals. So this is what I mean. Ads are greater than organic, and this is coming from us. We cut our teeth with AEO, GEO, SEO, whatever you want to call it. We're really good at organic, and I love direct response stuff. That's how I got in the marketing game. But we're really good at organic, and now you have to run ads. Ads is the thing. They're making it easier to contact businesses through ads and harder for you to contact businesses organically. So some of you may know this, but here is a quick screenshot of it. Hey, you see, oh, by the way, see that little thing where it says have AI check prices? This is a screenshot or whatever, but this again is an example of what I'm talking about. Here is where you can have AI call three different local businesses, do the shopping for Shadley, like say, hey, Shadley, I know you want a plumber. We call these three businesses. This is what they said. Pick one. Shadley picks one and he calls. Pretty soon, Google will just do the calling for him and the booking. That's where it's going. Back to the decision stuff. But back to the lecture at hand here, why ads are greater than organic. So if you see right here, where it says Platinum Plumbing, Moldberg Plumbing, and All Source Plumbing, what are they missing? They're all missing a call to action. At the very top, where it says Milestone Plumbing has call to actions. All right. Milestone Plumbing at the very top of that, that's a sponsored ad. Right now, if you Google a local company, for the most part, Their organics will have no call to action. The ads will have a call to action. So just by that small change, you will see a decrease in organic traffic, organic phone calls. It hasn't fallen off the map, not in the way I thought it would, because here we are in May. Definitely seen a decrease, um, and we've seen an increase in ads just by this change, but it hasn't completely fallen off the map. People are actually clicking on the organic thing and then actually calling, but we're seeing a dip there, and I think it'll get worse. Again, to me, when Google made this change, it was very clear that they were like, "Hey, if you want people to easily call you, you got to run ads. If you want them to see, and you still have to be, or you still have to come up organically. You still want to take up real estate when people search for your service. But again, Google is making it harder for us to get contacted organically. All right, keywords versus intent. If you know anything about Google Ads, we have keywords, and keywords. It was a art and science. You want an exact match and phrase match. A lot of people didn't want broad because broad would bring in all types of crap. Uh, so the old school style was I want exact and phrase match on the high leverage keywords that impact my business. And but the new way, you can still play with exact, you can still play with phrase, but you have to add broad. Broad isn't what it used to be. And when you put on AI Max, you still need to do your keyword, negative keywords and stuff. You need to filter those things. Still need to filter that. But broad nowadays means show my ad when somebody behaves like a buyer. Okay, it's not just old school broad that it used to be. It's about their intent. Google's moving from keywords and they're moving to intent. Remember what I said? Google has Chrome, they have Gmail, they have Google Drive, they have more crap on people than people even know. So they know your intent and they're moving their ads to match intent, not just a keyword. So here's what I mean. Well, they said it right here. Broad's the only match. I'll read the very first part here. Broad is the only match type that uses all signals available in Google's ads to understand the user's intent, right? So you have to go with broad. And here's what I mean. Here's an example. If I put in a keyword, how to lose belly fat, right? I put that keyword, that phrase in. Back in the day, whatever would have came up, who knows? Anybody who was bidding on that phrase, their stuff could have came up. Google is smart now. Okay, because what do I mean by how to lose belly fat? Is it because I'm just curious? Am I doing health research? Am I looking for exercises? Am I looking for a diet? Am I trying to do peptides? Am I ready to join a gym? Do I have a gym? Am I looking for surgery? That how to lose belly fat can mean a lot of different things based on what I was doing prior to that phrase search. Google knows. So if I'm putting something like that in, and I've been searching for peptides left and right, it's going to show me peptide ads. If I put that in and and Google knows that I've been looking at how to build a gym, or now I'm in the process of building a gym, or I'm a gym owner, it's going to give me some things around that line. It's about intent, not so much about keywords. Keywords are still important, but we have to keep an intent. So our ads have to think of where they're at in their decision making funnel. Where are they at? With this is their intent. Where are they at within that intent? And let me make sure I have ads that match that. And that's what's happening for now. I think Google, from what I just read, they're making it harder for us to kind of customize these things with AI Max. They're trying to make it more push button. But as it stands right now, we think of their intent when we're creating our ads, not just the keywords. All right, keywords versus signals. So old school Google Ads, you told Google where to show your ads, right? I want it here only in the search, or I want it here only on YouTube. New Google, you teach Google who the customer looks like, and then Google goes and finds where they're at. So old school, we told Google where we wanted to show up. New school, we teach Google what a good customer is, and then Google goes and finds them. So this is from Search Engine Land. I love this article, and I won't get into all of it, but in Google Ads automation, everything is in Google Ads automation. Everything is a signal, so it's all about signals. The way I try to structure it. It's like back to Facebook, old school Facebook. You used to do all this like super manual targeting, and some if this then that targeting, and you can start really drilling down. And then Facebook came out with a Facebook Pixel. So then when I put in the Facebook Pixel, it kind of learned who my customer was and went out and found them, so I didn't have to do any targeting. You have this type of thing with Google, but what you do there is it's customer match. You want to kind of teach Google who it is. What do I mean by customer match? So say I have 7,000 previous customers from my plumbing company. I have all their information, right? Back in the day, I could just run ads and try to go get more of those. But now, if I want those ads to work even better, I take all 7,000 of those customers, put that customer match list into Google, let Google get an idea of who I'm looking for, and then go find more of those. You want to give Google as many signals as possible. That's what works for us in the local space. There might be other things you can do, but the whole meta of this is you're teaching Google what a good customer looks like by giving them actual customers. All right, let's go to the last thing, the Google Business Profile. All right, man, a fair amount has changed with this, but I'll give you the big idea. And by the way, sorry, my dog's barking. Somebody's at the back door. Anyways, all right. So old school Google Business Profile is just a listing, almost like one. It was like almost one and done. So you do your Google Business Profile, you set it up, leave it, it's done. The new school, new Google Business Profile, it's like a place where you can. Good God, my dog is going nuts. Sorry. The new Google Business Profile is like a place for you to do SEO. You treat it like another website. So again, old school Google, set your Google business, old school Google business profile, set it up, one and done, you're good. New one is like you treat it like a website. It needs to be updated and it needs to be updated. You need to give as much rich input as possible. So Bright Local put this out. This is the same thing, right? It's basically what I said. AI has made Google Business Profile and the Knowledge Panel your new homepage. And so it works like this because you have AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it. It works off structured data. And like I said earlier, or one of the things with Google, much like social media platforms, they like for you to use their tool. So with AEO and things of that nature, if you are looking for structured data, the Google Business Profile is built for this. If you ever go through and start messing with it, updating services, it is built for this. And so then you go in and you give it, it has the framework for it, and you go in and you start adding the bricks by giving it all this the data it can take so it can pull from and then show your company should your company be a good fit. So there's three things we'll talk about here though that impact the Google Business Profile. Review velocity are three changes here that are impacting it in 2026. Review velocity, review content, and the structured data that I just mentioned for the Google Business Profile. Review velocity, I'm sure many of you know this, but I'll go over it just in case. It is not just about quantity with reviews, it is velocity. So Google is a what have you done for me lately type company when it comes to reviews. And it makes sense, especially with all these at least in the home services space, you have all these VCs coming in and buying up mom and pops. So if Chris's mom and pop plumber has been around for 20 years, when we've been doing great service, we get bought out today, we're going to be a different looking company. We were ran by a VC. So those reviews, yes, quantity matters. We care about that. But if all of a sudden I get bought out and my reviews start tanking, Google sees that and they will adjust accordingly. They will adjust accordingly. And so review velocity, here's an example. You'll see Texas Health and Family Care, they have 224 reviews right there. And then what you'll see is, what is it, North Hills Family Medicine, they have 1.1K, right? So 1,100 reviews. Yet Texas Family Healthcare is at the very top, right? So what's old school, the North Hills Family Medicine would have been at the very top of this because they have 1,000 reviews. But when you dive into it, here's what you'll see. I went to each of these Google Business Profiles and looked at the reviews, and I sorted it by newest. So North Hills Family Medicine, the one that has 1,000 reviews, you see it right here. They have some good reviews. You'll see a review 2 days ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago. This is not bad. They're consistently getting reviews. But now check out what Texas Health Family Care looked like. Their reviews were within hours, right? Or a day, 23 hours, a day ago. So although they had less reviews, they're getting them more recent, more recent. This thing with reviews, Google is really going in on this, like really going in on this. And this is one example, but here's another one. Review content. It's not just about recency or the quantity. It's actually about what's being put in the actual review. What is Shadley saying about that HVAC company that just came and didn't work? Like they're looking at that because this is a big signal when it comes to Google making the decision. AEO looking at you as the authority in the area. What are other people saying about you is a big part of that pie. And how is Google going to do it? For sure, it's going to be Google reviews. How does GPT do it? They go to Yelp, they go to Better Business Bureau. It's what are people saying about your business from reputable sites. And obviously, Gemini or Google AI mode is going to rely heavily on the reviews. And so here's the thing. Like I used to talk about how a generic review didn't help you as much. And back then it didn't. Last month, reviews changed. Like the way they look at it. They're really getting serious about this. So like I would talk about, I used to talk about what a perfect review looked like. That has changed completely because I used to say, hey, here's the formula. And I would give it like it was a specific problem, a specific service, specific location, and result. We wanted something that was no less than 75 words. 100 to 200 words is great. Like we used to coach our clients to this. That changed last month. Google doesn't want any of that. As of last month, your staff cannot, they don't want any staff prompting. So I go do HVAC work at Shadley's house. When it's done, Google says it is against their policy for me to stand there with a tablet and say, okay, Shadley, will you please do this review for me? Right. On top of that, not only can I not stand in front of Shadley and say, hey, can you do this review for me? Hey, Shadley, will you please mention my name, mention the problem, mention the service, and mention the location? I can't coach Shadley on how to use a review or how to leave a review for me. We used to do this big time with our clients. We used to coach them on how to coach their techs or their people to get reviews. Google, as of last month, says no. They don't want. And then also, the HVAC company that I work for, right? I came out to Shadley's house to get it to do work and get a review from him. I can't prompt him on how to do the review. I can't prompt him and telling him, hey, to do it right now. And the company I work for can't measure me on review generation. There's whole structures in people's bonuses right now that are built off review generation. Just as of last month, Google said no, you can't do that either. So why in the heck is Google doing all this? And do they really have any control over this? They're doing it. This is my tinfoil hat. Is because they don't want us manipulating one of their strongest signals, which is what are people saying about this company? Google needs to know what people are really saying about your company so that they know if they could recommend you as the one to use when they start making the decision. But if we're manipulating that, then it taints the whole process. So they remove all this. Then the question becomes, well, how in the hell can Google control how I run my company when it comes to reviews? How can Google stop me from prompting Shadley on how to do a review? Well, they can't. But what they can do, and which they're brilliant at, is seeing patterns. So if they start seeing a pattern of Chris Gray came to my house in Keller, Texas, and fixed my AC unit and blah, 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 and they keep seeing this cadence or whatever, they're going to know and they're going to flag you. They can take it down, they can shadow ban you, whatever they do. But and this is my whole opinion, those things they've said you cannot do this. They're going to have a way to enforce that. To me, the way they enforce it will be patterns. All right, the very last thing for the Google Business Profile is structured data. Like I said, you use the Google Business Profile like it is a home page. It's not something you just one and done. It's something that, especially if the local marketing company, you should be updating weekly, whether it's photos or services or whatever it is, you want to update it. But one thing we used to do, so you have something like, here's an example of a Google Business Profile. You have something like edit services. When you go to services, you could just add all these different type of services, which we would do. And usually we stopped here, right? You see, we would stop there. So we had all these services and then we bounce out. But if you click within the services, there's a service description. This is where we're going. Okay, all our services now need a service description. Talk about what it is, where we do it, so on and so forth. We want to give This is as silly as it might. This is my tinfoil hat thing. There's no proven thing that says, hey, when you give your Google business profile more information, you're going to rank harder or like higher. But to me, if they're reading it so hard, why would you not give Google that data? Why would you not tell them that you do this service in this location and this is how you do it or whatever it is? Why would you not? They're pulling from it, so give them as much as possible. That was a lot. I was telling some of my clients about it. They asked me like, "What do you do?" or whatever, and then I don't know what you do about it. Like things are changing. Like they're all changing. But I will say these are the three things that we are very much fixated on that I don't think change here. Again, we're approaching Google like it's a decision engine, not a search engine. That's like a meta philosophy, a meta approach. Running ads is not a choice. Like we want to run ads, we just have to run ads and spend a little bit more on it. And while we run these ads, we want to be teaching Google and feeding Google as much data as possible to the point where we have a plumbing company where they complete a job that that customer automatically gets fed to Google, right? We're really diving in on that. And then we want to treat the Google Business Profile like it's a website for our AEO, SEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it. We treat the Google Business Profile like it is a website. I think that's all I have from there. We can do Q&A, assuming there is or are any questions, Shadley.
Give it a minute. I don't have anybody. It's a lot of information to kind of wrap your head around. A little overwhelming just how fast things are changing and trying to keep ahead of it and understand what you're supposed to do or okay, what we did last month no longer applies this month. That just seems to be the new norm. You feel like you have to constantly relearn how everything is going or where it's going. So, does anybody have any questions for Chris related to today's topic? Um,
Oh, really quick too, Shadley. I forgot here. If anybody wants these slides,
okay.
you join my newsletter for the slides. The newsletter is not banging you over the head with any offers or nothing. It's just information about marketing and
Mhm.
personal stuff. So that's the newsletter for the slides. If you join today, I will send these slides out to you. That's that. And then the next one, this is my link tree. So if you don't care for the newsletter or whatever, and you want to find out more, that's my link tree right there. And it has all my socials. I'm active on all the socials, but I have a team that helps with that. I if you DM me on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, if I respond, it won't be about for a long time. And if I respond, it might be somebody else. I'm most active on Facebook because I'm 45 years old and just that's what I do. Older people on
Right.
Facebook. So if you DM me on Facebook, then you'll probably get the real me, or you will get the real me. And I think that is it. Sorry about that, Shadley.
That's okay. Let's see if I have any questions. What was the biggest surprise for you as far as or what's been the hardest part for you in this rethinking and shifting? What's been like the biggest like complete 180 or shift in how you were previously thinking to how you know you have to think now when it comes to Google?
What's been the hardest and the biggest one? That's such a great thing. That's such a great question. One of the hardest things for me is um, like just getting over my ego when it comes to marketing. I think that anytime, at least for me, this is my experience, if I understand or do something at a high level, um, to know that it's changed or to take lessons from somebody who may not be as skilled in that has been a challenge for me. Like, let's talk about jujitsu, very hard sport. If you don't know what jujitsu is, it's all that's when guys in UFC, when they get on the ground, they start breaking and choking and stuff. That's jujitsu. So I'm a black belt there. but I can learn from a white belt. But there was times a white belt would tell me something, and I'd be like, your pride wells up a little bit because I'm the I should know. And it's
Mhm.
like, no, you can learn from anybody, and things change. They might have watched a video or saw, and they learned something I didn't. Same thing with marketing, where I really feel like I understand this at a higher level than most, and so you can get laxed. I can get laxed in that and be like, oh, I understand. Marketing is changing. It's always changing, like big time. And so knowing that I don't, if I will understand marketing when I understand that I don't understand marketing, meaning it's always, always, always changing. So I think to answer your question, Shadley, it's not as tactical as much as it is just my real answer where I just checking my ego at the door when it comes to doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think that can be the trick with anything that you've been doing for a while and that you're competent in, and especially in something that you have to sell yourself as a being a thought leader in, to at the
Yes,
same time say, I'm insecure in this piece of it, or I don't have an answer, or oh, I didn't realize that it's changed. You're also expected to be up to the date on everything all the time. And it's changing so fast that it's impossible to stay on top of it all. And you really have to like find your lane, like with you and really focusing on Google gives you some, obviously there are other tools that you're using, but you really have to kind of literally every day pick your battles on what you're going to learn today and where you're going to specialize today because the rules are going to change tomorrow. And
absolutely.
so it's a weird balance of um, confidence and insecurity of like, oh, God, like you got to be like confidently insecure. It's like you have to decide that you have to know how to find the answers. You don't have to have the answers. So I think that it's important to cut yourself some slack in the world we're living in, as especially agency owners there's a lot of pressure anytime you hear from someone or a client or anybody that you're supposed to have all the answers and to like be able to confidently and comfortably take a beat can be scary when it feels like you're behind all the time. Um, just my 2 cents. Anybody have any questions? If not, we will wrap up and let you go for the rest of your lunch hour. And thank you all for joining us today. Jason, is it possible to merge two GBPs? We merged our two locations recently, and instead of merging them, GPB create a duplicate profile. Now we lost our former locations. Do you have an
Well,
answer?
that's terrible. Unless something changed, Jason, we've always been able to merge, and we would merge to the one that had more reviews. So I don't know why they would duplicate. It seems like something went awry there. There used to be a way you can contact Google customer support through the Google Business Profile. I don't do it. Somebody on my staff does it or did it. But to answer your question, we've merged, and we've typically merged to the stronger profile.
Um, Rachel, would you say all of these suggestions are also recommended for clients who are resistant to PPC advertising?
1000%. Like, I understand the resistance, and I get it, especially if you've been making your money off of Google, off of organic, and continue to do that. But it is clear, just depending on the niche, right? Depending on the niche again, when it comes to like right now, it's any home services. This is impacted. It may not have it. It hasn't impacted some of our doctors yet, but it's starting to happen, starting to be everybody where they're removing the call to action for organic, giving you a call to action for for PPC. Now, here's the thing. Here's a trick. If your client is resistant to pay per click, which is perfectly fine, if they're resistant to pay per click, at least do local service ads. If you have a local agency or you have a client who has a local business and they're eligible for Google local service ads, then they can opt in for that above pay per click. If you don't know what Google local service ads is, it's going to be the very thing at the top, like the very it's Google's way of competing with Angie's. It's like Google saying, "Hey, we've sourced through all these companies, and these are the top ones. These are it's called Google Guaranteed or whatever they used to call it." But Google local service ads is a better it can be a little more palatable than pay per click, because pay per click, PPC, for people don't know, is just that, pay per click. So there's a plumbing company over here and I want a job and I click on their ad, it still costs that plumbing company money for me to click on that ad. Whereas local service ads, when they come up and you click on it, doesn't cost you anything. It only costs the company something if that person calls or sends a text message. That's when they pay for it. So Google local service ads, think of it as paying for leads. Pay per click, you're just kind of paying for more volume. Now you would think, well, why in the hell would I pay for clicks and not just pay for leads? Well, Google local service ads, you got to tell your client it could be hit or miss. That's a whole other presentation I can do on just Google local service ads. It's a whole other presentation. But what will happen is if you can hit quantity there, consider yourself lucky. It's more, it used to be more of just a quality play. Now, some of our clients hit quantity and quality. Pay per click, it's going to be, you're not going to get the best quality, but you definitely get quantity if you do it right. If you do it right. So that's the trade-off. Local service ads, it may hit, it may not, but it could be a good way to dip their toe into paid advertising so they're not worried about spending a ton of money. Um, that's that question stuff. Thank you,
Jason is
Jason.
educating us in the chat on the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is a cognitive bias
Yeah.
that describes a systematic tendency of people with low ability in a specific area to give overly positive assessments of this ability. Wow. Knowing,
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that could
this
be me
is
some days, but I certainly know a few people that would fit. Um, Thank you, Jason. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining us today. It was fantastic to get your insights on this, again, this weird, ever evolving, ever changing, ever challenging world we are juggling as agency owners. So thank you for sharing your insights with us. And I'll be back in a month with another presentation. Feel free to email me if you have any follow-up questions. Uh, and before we go, I will say that I am looking for presenters for the end of the year. So if you feel like you have any topic that you think would be helpful to this community, I would love to hear from you. I have 3 months open at the end of the year for this presentation. They're done the first Tuesday of every month. Wait, second Tuesday of every month at noon Central Time. So if you or anyone you know wants to do a presentation, please reach out to me. I have spots at the end of the year. And that'll do it. Thank you all. Have a fantastic afternoon, rest of week, and see you all soon. Thank you, Chris.
see you, Shelly. Thank you.